The Warriors open as a small 3-point favorite. We'll talk to Kendrick Perkins now joins the show. Perk, I appreciate the time. I want to ask you about this Boston team in a moment, but I want your perspective on the end game, because this game was fascinating to me. Boston kept building double-digit leads. Miami kept fighting back. Both of those things I could understand. At the end, man, I've seen teams sort of try to just bleed the clock, right? But now you got a furious Miami team fighting back. All of a sudden, Butler's got the ball. It's a 2-point game. What did you think of his decision to pull with Horford backpedaling in front of him?
You know what, Scott? It's hard to be mad at Jimmy Butler for taking that shot, and I call it the kill shot. You know, he was going for the win. That's who Jimmy Butler is. This guy is built for the postseason. So, although a lot of people may be upset with that shot selection, I'm not. You know, he had a good look. It was a clean look. It was a good shot, in my opinion, for Jimmy Butler. They battled all the way back. I see no problem with it.
No, nor do I. I mean, look, it's easy. If it goes in, no one says a word. I do wonder, because Jalen's got 5 and really can't help, and you got Horford backing up. And I mean, Butler maybe is going downhill. You get to the bucket. I mean, whatever. But just the fact that was an opportunity for Miami to take the lead at all, given that they led by 13 with 3.5 to go, is that a concern for you that Boston, as they keep saying, we love to make it difficult? Does that concern you?
Well, it does in a way, especially with a young team like Boston going to the finals, Scott, because when you see moments like this, right, you look at the finals, and sometimes a new team that's representing the finals from the Eastern Conference or from the Western Conference, you can get caught up in the moment. And so when I looked at that, I thought the Boston Celtics were caught up in the moment and didn't finish the game. You got to play until that clock goes to 0. And I thought the Celtics didn't do that, which is a great learning experience, because still in all, they got the dub. That's the key piece. Went to Miami and got the win on the road.
No argument. Look, the best thing that the Celtics could have at the end of this night is a date with Golden State in the finals, and they've got it. And Perk, you know a little something about being on a team that's got a little bit of veteran experience and a team that's got some young stars. You were part of that with Boston back in the day. Now you've got Horford making the finals for the first time. You've got Tatum and Brown and Smart, a young nucleus. How do you feel like this Celtics team, even though they're new to the stage, are prepared to perform against an experienced Golden State team in the finals?
Well, you know what, Scott? They're young, but they have old souls. And when I look at them and I look at the way that they communicate on the defensive end and the way that they're tied on the string, look, when you look at this Celtic defense, their versatility, their length, their athleticism, they have everything from perimeter defense when you look at Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, and Jaylen Brown, to the interior when you go to Al Horford and Robert Williams. And then they have perimeter scoring and Jason Tatum, who I feel like right now, Scott, is on the verge of having one of the greatest individual playoff runs in NBA history. Just think about this for a second. He went through Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving in the first round. He went through Giannis Antetokounmpo in the second round. Jimmy Butler, the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference, in an elite head coach in Eric Spoelstra. And now he has an opportunity to take down Steph Curry. If he completes the mission, this will go down as one of the greatest individual performances in NBA history.
No doubt the path in front of them is incredibly difficult. I just wonder, when you've played it, you go 7 with Milwaukee, right? Now you got to go 7 on the road with Miami, and now you got a much more rested and much more experienced Golden State team. It's the challenge is steep, but it's clear that this Boston team believes that they're prepared for the moment, and it sounds like you are too, yes?
I am. And shout out to Ime Udoka, because when you see a young team like this lock in on the defensive side of things, that means that the head coach got their attention. And so when I go back to the point I brought up earlier, Scott, here's the thing about making it to the finals, right? You have to balance between the two of celebrating being there, because you don't want to take it for granted, and staying focused. Meaning, you know, hey, look, celebrate tonight, live it up a little bit tomorrow, and then you got to lock right back in to Golden State, because they're waiting. Steph Curry is waiting on his opportunity to go out there and win him another championship and Finals MVP.
They're connected. They're connected, Perk. That's a word that gets used a lot in this game, but I think you see it on the floor. And as we see these images, you know, these are grown men playing a kid's game. And yeah, I know they're well compensated for their time, but there's a joy that you see, especially with guys getting there for the first time. For those of us that'll never know what these moments mean to the group, how do you best explain the emotion that's in that room right now?
But you can't explain it, but you have to embrace it. Look, a lot of people talk about winning a championship, and I always preach, you don't know how hard it is just to make it to the finals, to make it to the promised land. Like, you have to embrace that moment. But you know what it shows me, Scott? It shows me togetherness. Just think, in the middle of the season, this team was 23-25 at one point of the season. They had one of the greatest turnarounds in regular season history, and now they're here. That means that they stuck together. They went through multiple times of adversity, and when you see them right now embracing the moment, the way that they played agenda-free basketball, it's a beautiful thing to watch.
It is indeed. Coach Udoka speaking to the team here. It's moments that we'll make sure that we're not, you know, having anything make it on air that's not supposed to. So we'll let them share that moment. We'll let them share that moment together. And
we don't want to see that.
Well, I mean, you know, I always say we're on cable and it's late at night. It's no big deal. But my bosses have a different view of that. So, Perk, we'll talk to you a little bit later. We'll bring you some of Coach Udoka and the guys from that locker room a little bit later in the show as well. Perk, thank you for the time.
All right, thank you.